Hello and welcome to the Answers Yes podcast. Jim Riley here with Rod Kuntz. Rod, how you doing, buddy?
Fired up. That's how I'm doing.
You've been
Fired
crushing it at work all week. Good job.
I have 3 days of it, but yes.
Just a reminder for those listening, Rod is retired, but decided to go back to work, UPS, to get his morning exercise in. He starts at, do you start at 4:30 or 5?
Today was 5.
Yeah.
But it'll be 3:30 here come peak season.
You're an animal. Good job. I love it. I love seeing your posts in the morning on your way. What do you call those? Rod's
rants.
Rod's rants. Yeah.
Rod's rants. It's 5 o'clock somewhere has evolved to Rod's rants. So I've got an opinion, now that I'm back from the dead, I've got an opinion and I'm going to use my voice. I'm not going to be the silent majority anymore.
I love it. So we were talking for a moment off the air about, the workforce in general, and what we're seeing, restaurants or going to Home Depot or Walmart or all these places. And it just seems like people are generally lazy and not really getting their jobs done. And it's amazing what's happened culturally. My dad would not stand for that. And nor would my brothers if my dad did, and nor would my friends. They would lift me up by the sweatshirt and drag me to work harder is how I grew up. I don't know what's happened. What do you think?
Well, I think that, gosh, I've spent so much time trying to unravel this mess. I think that people's expectations have been lowered.
Yeah, big time.
I think that's part of it. And by that, I mean, we've grown accustomed to tolerating inefficiencies and tolerating excuses and tolerating subpar performance. We've tolerated it, and this is what we get as a result. We need to raise our expectations. Number one, our expectations need to be made clear to our friends, our family, our workforce. We need to make those expectations clear. We don't allow slackers here.
Mm-hmm.
We expect, a full day's work for a full day's pay. I'm not going to ask you to do extra. I'm not one of those people who say come in early and stay late if I'm not going to pay you for it.
Yeah.
But you better, when you're here, you better clock in and do your job. Just how about that for a starting point? Do your job.
How about being ready to do your job at your starting time? Not clock in and then go to the bathroom and then go get yourself your cup of coffee and then go text your whoever. And then like at 10 after your starting time, you're like, okay, I'm ready. It's like, no, you are late, And I love, you said this before we got on air, is this, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, or I don't care if you identify as Alphabet City. There's no excuses for not having a strong work ethic. Bottom line, you're being paid a wage with an expectation, whether that's a verbal or a written contract when you applied for the job, to do the job to the best of your ability.
Right. I did an acronym. I think I did this on one of our Young Entrepreneur Syndicate calls. DANG. You know how you are successful people? They're just dang lucky, right?
Okay.
And dang, the D is for do your job, right? You want to be successful. You want to get lucky, do your job. And A is have a good attitude. Be the one who's there, not complain. And that gets to N, no complaining.
Nice.
Right? Have a good attitude. N, no complaining. And then get to work. It all centers around get to work, right? Show up and just do the job. That's how successful people got successful. And I don't care. There are millennials and there are Gen Z people out there, and I don't even know what all the other ones are right now. There are people who are successful. They all share the same traits. They go to work. They don't have expectations that are unrealistic, right? They go to work to do the job, and then they're rewarded for it. First with a paycheck, and then with ideas, with training, with experience, with social culture, and the whole works. And then they're successful, and people say, gosh, they were so dang lucky. Yeah.
Rod,
just take the luck out of it.
You're the acronym king. I'm wondering, I got to talk to your wife someday. I wonder if you have acronyms around your house for everything.
I don't, actually. This is my profession. The acronyms only come out in my professional life. My personal life is I don't know. I always tell my wife and kids, I think I'm the funniest person I know because I'm always sarcastic and I think it's witty and sometimes it's just stupid.
Oh, I think my kids are tired of me today, man. I've been bouncing around the house trying to get them rolling, getting everybody excited. I've been up since 5, doing my thing. I know you beat me on that, but so listen, yes, I got up early and popped on the internet for a few minutes. I'm getting better about how much time I spent on there. Our show that we launched yesterday on trade schools is on fire. Everybody's been downloading it, reposting it. Chris Muller, thank you for your post right away. It's on. I check out your Instagram stories today, Rod. It's all over the place. So hey,
really?
Listen, if you're not following our show, if you haven't heard our show on trade schools, you might want to check it out. Apparently,
I don't even remember what we talked about, Jim.
Well, we do so many of these. Apparently, it's resonated. Okay, I'm going to give you today's topic, and it does have to do with kind of this work ethic and how I said, if my dad didn't push, my brothers would, and if my brothers didn't, then my friends would. Literally, that's how I grew up. I mean, all my friends, we worked together, and we challenged each other, and we all wanted to be the best, right? We worked at In-N-Out Burger, me and my 4 best friends, and we all strived to be at the top. And you know what? Eventually, we all became managers in that company. And eventually, some of us went out to college or did other things. I think one of my buddies still works there. I haven't talked to him for years, but I think he still works there. And it was really cool because we'd get on our shift and be like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. We'd see what positions we're working. We'd try to outdo each other. Or maybe one worked in the day, one worked at the night. We'd brag about, oh yeah, we kicked butt today. It was all about like succeeding and working hard and having that satisfaction. So, thinking about our conversation that we started here and what my topic already was, and this is it. Surround yourself with good people, right? You are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And to say it differently is build your tribe of people around you that will encourage you, build you up, strengthen you, be there for if you need them, right? That shoulder to lean on, right? Build your tribe around you and you will find the rewards of that. And you know what? If somebody in that tribe, maybe you have it already, is bringing you down, I love this line, cut the draggers or cut the cord, whatever. I'm not saying you don't have to be friends with them anymore, but cut them out of your inner circle so that they're not bringing you down. Maybe those are the people that you visit once in a while, but not all the time. You love them, but you realize that they're bringing you down. You are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with. So, when I think about that, Rod, a couple things recently that's really sparked this in me. And I've always had a tribe around me of good people. And you know what? Sometimes it's one person. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 1. And actually, my constant has been my wife the last 12 years. She is absolutely the queen of my tribe and my driving force. But I have some good friends around me right now. And Rod, I include you in that small tribe. You push me, whether you know it or not. You're there for me. I'm able to lean on you. You've helped me grow in my business, our business. I watch the type of father that you have been, and have a relationship with your kids. And I'm so proud of my tribe right now. I went off, and I think I talked about this in one of the shows already, but I went off to a 4-day retreat. It was a men's retreat, and it was called Tres Dias, and it was basically a Christian retreat for men. No clocks, so you didn't know what time, no cell phones, no connection to the outside world. And what I realized is as men, we all struggle with the same things, all of us. There was one point where there was 35 attendees and 70 workers to facilitate the weekend. So basically it was 2 workers per attendee. But every single person kind of exposed some of their challenges and struggles that we have as men. And I realized if I step back and I looked at all these men and all their challenges, and we all suffer from the same things. And what came out of the weekend for me is that I have a great tribe of people around me, and some of those people that were there, at least 2 for sure, are a part of my tribe, more so now than before. And it's like, wow, I realize that we're in this together, And when I say in this, I mean everything, the whole bubble of life, personal, work, spiritual. We talked about mind, body, and soul on our last show.
Yes.
All that, right? Mind, body, and soul, work, health, how we do things. We're all in this together. And to have a tribe of people that you can lean on and you can be there for them is so critically important in life. Don't miss out on the opportunity to do that. Rod, I want you to share your thoughts on having a tribe, our community, and then, maybe we can talk about afterwards some ways that you can help develop that tribe and maybe what you should look for. So weigh in on the topic first.
Well, first, I'm with you. Your tribe starts with your family. And I've been blessed with a wonderful wife. And then we started our own tribe, right?
Yeah.
My tribe is now grown, but I've been able to invest in them and nurture them and train them and educate them. And I wasn't perfect, but it was an incredible learning experience to be a parent. And that's what friendship is too, right? You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to lean in and figure things out together. It's knowing that you can have a safe place to explore ideas and feelings and all that stuff. And that's what a good friendship is. You don't have to be that solid person. And friendships that are just based on social occasions, drinking buddies, recreation like golf or boating, that's all good and fine, but that's more just on I see that as surface level.
Yeah.
A deeper relationship are the people you can call when you're having trouble, when you're down, that you can be honest with about your life, about feelings, failings, and everything else that life throws at you. So you have to have some people you trust. Mm-hmm. And that gets down to values. And in my book, the Warpath Alliance, part of what I had was a team of people. I worked for a manager that said, look, these are the expectations I have. We have to have coverage on the floor. This is the amount of people. And they basically let us decide who we were going to hire. So management was out of the picture. And so we created a sales team. And what we looked for was values. Everyone had to have the same values. And in the 8 years that we all worked together, we had we were up to 6 people. And in those 8 years, nobody called in sick. Nobody missed a day of work. And nobody was late. Imagine that. 8 years. It's all about being accountable. And we were accountable to one another. And that doesn't mean we weren't sick. There were several of us that went through surgeries and stuff, but we called each other and we said, this is what I've got going on. I need coverage. Can I swap a day off? And we did that all the time because we were accountable to the team. And when you're accountable to your team, you're accountable to your tribe. You have to be honest and vulnerable and authentic and willing to step in. You have to be willing to take hard hits. You have to be willing to take the shot so that they can get up and recover. We all need that recovery time. And you got to have somebody who's got your back because you can't be on all the time.
No.
It'd be nice, but I always said I need like 3 clones. I need not one clone wouldn't be enough. I need 3 clones, but you just can't be all things to all men all the time. You have to strive for that.
The thing is, Rod, too, you made me think about this, is that in our groups, in our tribe, we also have to be willing to be very vulnerable and honest with other people so that they can also understand the trust factor and the level of commitment to the tribe.
Absolutely.
And what that might look like for those of you wondering, no, you don't have to share your darkest, deepest secrets. Maybe you need to, but you don't have to. What that might look like is just coming to your tribe and going, hey guys, I'm struggling at work. My sales are down this month. I can't get out of a funk. Anybody got some ideas? Because what you're doing in that scenario is you're putting your ego aside to say, I can't do it all. I'm not the top salesman 24/7. Please, I'm looking for an idea today, because one idea in your tribe might help stimulate and get you over that little hump. But yet so often we let our ego get in the way and we're afraid to ask, I'm not good enough. Right. And the reality is that I would love to help somebody that's come to me and said, look, Jim, I'm struggling with this. I don't care what it is. It could be the simplest of things, but if you're struggling with it, I'd love to help. Right.
Absolutely.
I think, we get too wrapped up in, we got to only have the really important things to ask for help for, or, I don't have these crazy dark secrets that I need help with, so I'm not going to ask for anything. But it could be anything, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It could. From curriculums, I know a lot of people now are homeschooling, and having the ability to ask someone about what curriculums to use, or do you have to stick with one curriculum, or can you do things differently? And do you have to have schedules that match this stuff? Just to have somebody else to say, you know what, this is your journey and it's okay to do things differently. Sometimes that's all it is. It's not a deep, dark secret. It's just someone else who said, I've been there and I've done that, and give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
This is not a big deal.
Here's a perfect live example of that using school curriculum, right? So, we're homeschooling, and 2 months ago, the girls just weren't into reading. Okay. Now they've enjoyed reading before. They're 7 and 9 right now. They go through their spells, but it's kind of the start of the year, and my wife's trying to get the girls, up and running on things, and they just weren't reading it. And so Samantha reached out to kind of her little homeschool network. And this one mom says, you don't have to force them to read. Sometimes kids like to listen and they'll digest the content. She said, why don't you read the book to them and do it together, right? So you read a book to both your daughters and get them involved, right? And so that's what they've been doing. And I think they're 5 books in now in 2 months. And the girls are reading their own books on their own time outside of that. So not only are they getting the benefit of that close time together and reading as a little unit, but then the girls are off reading on their own because they've learned to enjoy it. They've learned that, a book has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And how fun is it to get to the end, right? All because my wife asked the simplest of questions and was vulnerable to say, I'm struggling with teaching reading to my daughters right now.
Problem solved. Yeah. You can't solve a problem without identifying it. And sometimes you need someone else to help identify what the problem is. Sometimes we can't identify our own problems. That's why we go to doctors, right?
Sure.
What's wrong? I can't figure this out. So it's reach out.
Well, let's do this. Okay. Let's spend a few minutes talking about how to develop or how to find your tribe, your community. Okay. And look, I'll give a shameless plug here. We have the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. That's what this podcast is founded on. We do have a community. We have a community of people that have been coming together a year and I don't know how many months. I keep guessing, a year and a half.
18 months. 18 months, Jim.
We've been doing this for 18 months. We use the Jadari platform, which is similar to other social media platforms where you can interconnect, right? We have that. We have Monday night calls where people can interact with us, answer the questions, but also with one another. You can get on the chat, talk to one another, exchange phone numbers, build rapport. We have a lot of members working together right now, which I think is effing awesome. I love it. Right?
It's phenomenal. Yes.
And what I really loved was this morning. I don't know if you caught it yet. So we have a group text. This is for our listeners. Rod knows this already. We have a group text of our Young Entrepreneur Syndicate members. I blasted out a text this morning, something encouraging. Let's go, rah, rah, rah. And then one of the members said, hey, my son is struggling with health issues, and kind of went into it a little bit and said, would you pray for him? Right. And then everybody started chiming in. Yes, we got you. Prayer, like heart, all these things. I don't know what everybody's faith is in the group. Right. But they all were chiming in. Here's the point, though. What I love about this community, Rod, is that somebody, felt vulnerable enough and secure enough to put out their problem in this public text group. Hey, I'm struggling. We're suffering today. Pray for me. And then the community rallied and said, we got you, basically. I mean, that is so beautiful to me. I don't care if our group shut down tomorrow. That alone to me was worth every effort to this date. And I know we've been around for 16 months live or 18 months live, but probably 2 years plus doing this.
Right.
if I can bring people together in that way, where somebody can be vulnerable with what's happening in their personal life to share with others, and the others rallied around them, to me, that is a community in harmony and in sync. And I'm so proud of that work. So thank you for helping me get there. Thank Rachel for also helping us get there.
Absolutely. And thank all of our members also. This is what I'm going to say. You said something about if we were to shut this down, it can't be shut down.
Yeah.
This is the really cool thing. This has started something that can't be shut down. The relationships that have been built and forged in this environment are bulletproof. Our tribe is a foxhole.
Yeah.
And we got to, people got to choose to be in this foxhole with us. It's like, hey, we trust you guys. We trust you enough to get in here and see what's happening. And then they stayed. And other people have jumped into the foxhole with us. So you want to know a tribe? A tribe is someone who's got your back when life and death is on the line. That's what a tribe is. That's what family is.
If you think about how truthful the statement is about this thing can't be shut down, it can't, because what's happened from this thing that we created is that people have now connected on their own.
Yes.
Without the header of this is the syndicate, they've connected on their own, and they're going down different paths that is an extension of what we've started that will continue off into the future. So even if we shut down tomorrow, the relationships built are going to keep going. We're going off in a rabbit hole here. I'm just proud of the work. I'm proud of the community that we're offering. And that's what, we're talking about, building a community, our tribe. I just want people to know, if you don't want to follow any of the next steps we're going to talk about on how to build a community, our tribe, you can just jump into our community and tribe and know that we got your back. So here's some suggestions on what a community, our tribe looks like and how you might create one from my side. And Ryan, I'll let you do the same. First of all, know what your values are. Know your values, because you're going to want to align yourself with other people that have shared values. The easy, transparent thing is, parents hang around parents, especially with kids in the same age. You've met them probably at the schoolyard or at church, picking up your kids in the, same age, kids camp or whatever it is. That makes sense. You're going through the same things, the cycle of life. What's crazy, by the way, I think I mentioned this to you before, Rod. I'm 55. My wife's 35. Our kids are young. I'm spending a lot of time around 35 to 40-year-olds. Like, wait a second. I'm going backwards in life. But you know what? That's who my tribe is. And I need to understand, like, hey, I'm going through the same things they're going through. Age is not a factor. But first of all, know your values. Find people that align with your values. And that's where you can start. Okay. Then look for people that are interested in building community around a shared set of values and are willing to commit to being a part of your community or making a community together. Right. And I think that this has to be done with intent. You can't, yes, friendships happen organically, and that is similar to what we're talking about, but maybe not as much weight as we're talking about building a tribe and a community, because I think you need to do it with intent. We had a group meeting last week, a new group that I'm involved with, and at the end of the meeting, we had an official meeting. Like, hey, this is what we're thinking. A group of us came together from that men's retreat. This is what we're thinking. This is where we're heading with this group. We probably want to have about a dozen or so men, and we'd like to have you here. But if this doesn't fit, if what we're doing doesn't fit, then it's okay. We still love you. Don't worry about it. We'll take you off the text thread. We're going to keep moving on and know that we're here if you want to come back, right? So I think building your community and tribe needs to be with intent. Rod, just like yours and my relationship, right? We talked about our values before. We talked about our goals before, our dreams, where we want to take our businesses and our families and all those things. We have built a tribe of commitment through our open discussions about who we are and how we're committed to each other. So values, do it with intent. Number 2, right? Number 3 is generate the action that's required to maintain that tribe or community. In other words, don't say you're going to do it, get a commitment, and then fall off and expect the other person or the other people just to do all the work, right? Initiate. create the action, the energy moving forward, even if that is as simple as creating a text group amongst your community or tribes. And hey guys, I'm so glad that you're here for me today, or we're here for one another. Let's talk about this week, or this is what's going on with me. Or more importantly than all of that is, does anybody need help this week? Can I be of service to you this week, my community, my tribe, right? So values, commitment, action.
It all gets down to values and action.
VCA. Doesn't
there you
spell
go.
anything.
What can we do with
VCA.
that? What can we do with that? I'll play with it.
What do you got?
No, what I've got is this. How do you build that tribe? How do you find that tribe? I think too many people go to work, go to their jobs for a paycheck, and just to get it over with and to get back home. And when you stop and think about it, people spend more time, more awake hours with the people they work with than their own family, than their own children, than their own spouses. So if you're going to spend that kind of time with people, you really should be interested in them. You should know them, and not just, passing them in the hall or at the water cooler or whatever. You need to take an interest, a genuine interest in other people. And that's where you're going to find out if the values align. That's where you're going to find out if they do have a problem that you can help solve. That's where you can lay, once you start forging that relationship, you say, yeah, I understand what you're going through. I went through something similar before. This is what I found. You can start doing that. But again, it's the intention. But people need to spend more time working on relationships. And sadly, what was designed to help build those relationships, social media has eroded those relationships.
So true.
Trying to have a relationship through text or through emails is not the same as face-to-face. It's just not. There's no substitute. There's no substitute for like remote learning. There's just not a substitute, and that's why even with our group, the Syndicate, there are events. There will be more events scheduled in the future where we can all come together live, and take that to a next level. But it takes involvement, and that takes effort. It takes emotional effort to put yourself out there and to let other people in. And the problem is most people will want to start talking about themselves. Someone will say, oh yeah, I had a terrible incident on my way to work. And what are you going to say? Well, I had that happen. It was even worse. The one-uppers. Well, it was even worse last time. No, put yourself in their situation for long enough to see what they're feeling, to feel what they're feeling. Just listen and get involved. And you're going to find that's how tribes are created. They're built on life experiences that are similar. It's the connectivity. It's where people align. It's not where they misalign. And that's what social media has done. It's allowed people to find where everyone is misaligned as opposed to aligning them.
Can I touch on that real quick?
Absolutely.
And you might have more, but I had a thought here. This is a hack. This is one of my hacks. I'm going to give it to everybody. And just know that I do this genuinely. So labeling it a hack isn't really fair to the action item, but I genuinely do this. And that is, I pick up the phone and call people with no intent. Literally call, our group, one of our groups that I'm in is called Battle Buddies. And we formed it a couple weeks ago. Actually, the originators have formed it months ago, and then they invited me in. I'm so proud to be a part of this little group. And so we text every day. I haven't seen one of the group members for 2 weeks. And I called him yesterday. Hey, how's it going? Good, man. How you doing? Good. How's your day? How's your wife? How's your kids? How was your Halloween? How was your hunting? How are you? Basically, how are yous, right?
Right.
I know, but maybe 70%. He was waiting for me to say, hey, by the way, can you, or, some type of request or something, right? And so we did the, Q&A for a little bit. And I said, okay, cool. I said, look, man, I just wanted to hear your voice. It's been a couple of weeks. Hope you have a great day. And he's like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to chat real quick and say hello, and hung up, right? people expect that when you're being called that somebody's going to ask you for something or they want to gossip or bitch or whatever that looks like, and that's what we all do it. My hack is to call somebody with intention, to genuinely ask them how they're doing, what's going on, if I can do anything for them. And that's it. Hang up, right? Hey, have a blessed week, whatever that looks like, right? And that's it. So I call it a hack, but I do these things with intent because I really care. And I want the call to be about them and bringing value to them or helping them or supporting them or serving them and nothing to do with me. Right. So if they ask me something, I try to turn it around real quick. Like, no, like, how's your wife? Whatever. So anyways, that's my little hack about building a strong community of giving and serving.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head right there. You want to build a strong community, serve them.
Yeah.
Do the foot washing thing. Right. And I don't want to go down. Yeah. It doesn't have to be that bold and daring. It can just be a phone call. And sometimes that's all it takes to pick somebody up, to remind them what's important.
Yeah.
So little reminders, and maybe this little episode will remind people there are people in your life that are important. In fact, here, I'll bare my soul for a second. Last Sunday, my wife she delivered 2 babies within 18 hours and put literally 387 miles on the car in 18 hours.
Hey, can you give
back and forth?
Can you give that some context real quick? What does your wife do for work?
Oh, she's a midwife. She delivers babies.
People are going,
she's a home birth
2 babies.
She's a home birth midwife. So she goes out and helps people have babies. But I always say, she's having babies. She's delivering them. But anyway, it was a really crazy day. And then my oldest daughter got sick, needed to go to the hospital. And so I watched her three of my granddaughters. And she and her husband went to the hospital. And literally, my hands were full, and we've got a new puppy. Throw that in the mix too. So my schedule was off. I'm helping and assisting other people. I'm trying to be in contact with my wife as she's jetting around the valley. And I forgot to call my mom on Sunday evening. I call her every Sunday at 5:00.
Yeah.
It's not on my calendar. It's just something I do. And I didn't even think about it, Jim, until Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought, wow, I don't remember calling my mom this week. And so life happens, people. That's where that grace comes in. And, things happen. Give yourself some grace first and foremost. And then if someone else if there's a struggle, if there's conflict, if there's tension at work, in your family life, whatever, maybe something's going on. Maybe dig beneath the surface a little bit. Take a little bit of extra time instead of just saying, oh, so-and-so was a jerk today. How about find out what was going on? What's the layers that is there? Is there a pain point that you can help with? And maybe it'll just make all the difference. In fact, I promise it will. It'll make all the difference. Spend a little time going deep.
Good advice. Good advice. All right, let's wrap it up. Good topic. Build your tribe or community. And if you don't know how to start, you want to take the easy route, come join the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. Community is there for you already. I know everybody in the group. I know that they would welcome you with open arms if we aligned with your values, the things that we talk about on this show that's important to us.
Looks like Jim's microphone just went dead on him. Are you back? There it is.
I went to move it and turn it off. Anyways, we'd love to have you. Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. If you like this show, please share it. Like you have the one on trade. Like I said, it was blowing up today. Good job, Rod. Next week, we've got some good topics. Not going to tell you what they are. I'm starting to write them down now. We're going to be on a roll. Coming into the season, Christmas season, coming in hot. One of the things I texted our group this morning was, what are you doing today that you will see the results from in 90 days? Because really, that's how it works. Okay. And if you're not doing anything yet, start now. If you're listening to this, pull over, write a note, whatever. If you're at your desk, write a note. Do something right now to make a difference in your business, in your life, because you'll start seeing the effects of that 90 days. Imagine getting to like the end of January going, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I fostered that 90 days ago. right? That I built that relationship or started this project or started writing or reached out, and built a relationship, whatever that looks like. In 90 days from now, you will be so happy that you started. I know come January, I'm going to be really happy about the fitness program I'm on right now. And my battle buddy's holding me accountable to 5:30 because I'm already feeling great. I'm only 10 days in. So anyways, Rod, thanks for being here. Thanks for another great show.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate our partnership. I appreciate your family, the whole works.
The tribe.
So the tribe. Absolutely.
Right on. All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate.